You're listening to From the Shed, Australia's must-listen-to sports show, where we bring the chat from the stands to life. Subscribe through your favourite podcast provider or listen at fromtheshed.com.au.
Hi and welcome to this episode of From the Shed. I'm Pete George.
I'm Dtrain.
I'm the Schmack.
And we just love sports. In today's show, we're going to have a few topical things. Schmack's going to have a talk about the lack of greatness in players coming through in sport. I've got to have a little bit of a political talk. And Dwayne is absolutely pissed off on how the NRL has done State of Origin. But before we get into that, we'll just have a quick run around of some of the scores that happened over the weekend. We know there's a lot of people that love the darts, listen to the show, and Smack's got all of those results for us from overnight. So fire away, Smack.
So we had the next round of the World Series of Darts. We had Michael Smith and Christopher Teichke. Michael Smith won 6-4, which was good to see Schmitty get back in the winner's circle because he's been poor of late.
Yeah, he was. He struggled there for a little bit, but yeah, I saw the end of that, and he was a little bit lucky, but he's starting to hit 180s at a drop of a hat again. He's got that rhythm back.
Then the good match of the night was Durrant beat Van Galen again.
Yeah, you got to love that.
6-4.
And we were talking earlier, and as I said there, Glenn Durrant was quite excited about winning that match.
It's not bad for someone who was tipped to not even win a game by somebody. Yeah, well, I was a little bit savage. I just thought, like the form going into it, it wasn't there, but, Yeah, the Premier League sewn up pretty much for those last few games, so we didn't really need to push.
Switch off.
That's all right. You guys can pick on the fat kid. It's okay.
We had Peter Wright and Damon Hedder, and judging by Facebook this morning, I could have told you that Hedder lost because all the Aussies are very quiet.
Yeah. From what I can remember, did you see any of that, Dtrain?
Nah, didn't see any.
I saw a little bit of it, and I think went into the break 4-1 up Peter Wright, and he was just doing what Peter Wright does. Damon...
he had a good win the night before against Ian White. That was good.
Yeah.
I watched, because the Tour de France ran over, when you got like the second half of that game.
No.
And Jesus Christ, if doubles were worth money, the two of them would have been broke.
They couldn't hit anything.
They couldn't hit. It was literally like watching snow falling off a rope. So the end result there was Peter Wright won 6-3.
Yep.
And then our mate Rob Cross beat your mate Steve Beaton, the Bronze Adonis.
Yeah, the Bronze Adonis.
6-0.
There you go. Laura Turner, your big tip. Yeah, he got through the first night but couldn't get past Cross.
So it was good to see Rob Cross starting to win again as well. Another fan favourite who's coming back.
And he looked a lot more comfortable up there.
Missing somebody out of this lot. Where's Gerwin Price? He won, didn't he?
He's next.
He's next. But
yeah, the Iceman.
It was quite interesting. Like I must admit I prefer the Sky Sports broadcasts. I think they're better than the ITV ones that are going on. But they did bring up something that he hasn't mentioned that much of, but when Georgia, his wife, had their recent baby, she was quite ill with it too. So he's,
right.
Like his grandfather died of COVID. Change of darts, having a new kid, wife's not well, in a pandemic over there in the UK. Something's got to give.
Yeah,
so,
lots to take on board.
Yeah, so to see him, hitting trebles like he couldn't do in the Premier League, I think he's on his way back.
Yeah, and then that brings us to the next game. Dwayne's mate.
Go the Price.
Gavin Price and Vincent van der Voort.
Everybody loves them.
6-3 to Gavin Price.
Yeah.
Vincent van der Voort's actually been playing quite well lately as well, so that is a good win.
Yeah, he's had a change of darts and looks like he's quick at throwing.
Yeah, but he's always been like that.
I know.
They reckon what's hampered him is he's always had back problems.
Yeah.
And that when the back problems are there, his rhythm and everything's woeful. But when it's not, he's very hard to beat.
Yeah, and the same with Gary Anderson. Gary Anderson's got the back problem.
Then we go to the two happiest men in sport, Daryl Gurney and Cody Harris. if one of them broke a smile in a game, I reckon it'd break records.
Cody did well the night before to get over Chizzy.
Yeah. Chizzy wasn't at the races.
No.
He wasn't at the races.
And in the interview after the match, he said, I've beaten Chizzy a couple of times now and I've never got his A game.
Yeah.
So, and credit to him, like if someone doesn't turn up on the day, bad luck.
That's it.
Yeah, it was that good odds? $4.20 something?
Did you have a go?
Of course I did.
Good man.
They're not there to, feel sorry for them. They're there to win. So if you don't bring your game, it's tough shit. So that ended up 6-2 to Darryl Gorney. And then the Asp had a good win over Darren Labaneskis. The Asp won 6-1.
Yeah.
And James Wade beat Jeff Smith 6-3.
Now, Jeff Smith
is blessed.
He was lucky. Fallon should have belted him.
Fallon went 5-1 up.
Yeah.
He has 4 matched out. And then he came back and pipped the 6-5.
Do you think there's a lesson learned for the young lady?
Mm-hmm.
What would that be?
History doesn't always get changed every time you go on stage.
That's it.
Spot on.
Yep. So
it's
a cruel sport.
Perform. Yep.
So the finals will be on over Monday morning our time here in Australia.
Yeah. So the first one there, you've got Peter Wright and the Fun Sponge, Darryl Gurney.
Yep.
You've got the two fiery guys, which I like when they play each other, is Price and Aspinall.
Yep.
Because although they are both loud and animated, there seems to be a bit of banter between them.
Yeah.
As to oppose when Price plays Anderson around like that, they actually seem to have a laugh at the end of it.
Yeah. And I haven't seen any repercussions of Aspinall doing the big dummy spit after.
I still have it. I can't find that.
Yeah, can't find the video?
I can't find the video of it.
Yeah,
I looked everywhere.
I saw it on.
the other night.
It was on a Twitter. I'll send it to you, and I'll put it up on the Facebook page.
Yeah, for sure. Let us have a crack at it.
He missed check out to win, and I can't remember who he was playing, but checked out, and he's standing behind the player and just slams the
Joe Cullen?
Yeah, Cullen, and just throws the dart straight into the ground, spits it. Goes
Nice.
Yeah, so
I love a good tanny.
But having said that, you're not allowed to throw your darts like that around the area. So I'm still trying to find if he got into trouble or not. I doubt it, but
I doubt it when there was two players done for essentially match fixing.
Yeah,
and they got a slap on the wrist. And said, don't do that again. Yeah. So can't imagine for throwing your darts in the floor he's going to get all that much of a
slap. And
then you've got another game that'll be very interesting to watch if they put the cameras on the board. Is Glenn Durrant and James Wade.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're another happy bunch of fellas.
Yeah, there's a... Yeah.
And the last game is Smith and Rob Cross, which should be a good game.
Yeah, that'll be a good game. Yeah. Now, there's one thing that I want to... And I see a lot of it on social media. I don't know about you guys, about Glenn Durrant. And he gets a lot of abuse, and Dwayne and I spoke about it. He suffers from Bell palsy. That's why he's got that... what looks like a bit of a stroke down one side of his face. So he's lost the muscle control. And the dicks on social media that give him abuse, calling him, stroke victim, retard, there's reasons why. And this is why if people don't stop doing that, or if they keep doing that on social media, the guys won't interact with you. And,
it's really becoming inherent across all sports.
Yeah.
So they're all getting death threats for not winning games because people have bet on them.
Yeah. And that's...
I'm pretty sure the people that are up on stage don't give a shit whether you've put $1 on, Glenn Durrant to win the whole thing.
Yeah. And
pretty sure he's more pissed off that he's lost than anyone else.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
You might lose $10 on a bet, and it comes back to, I was talking to Mark Hayes from Golf Australia, and I was listening to a golf commentary, and this guy was putting... to stay in the position he was in, and the putt was for $500,000 US. So I think he's more worried about his putt than someone having $10 on him. Yeah,
someone winning $50 and him losing $500,000.
Yeah,
I know what I'd be more worried about.
Yeah, so it's been quite good, the World Series. I think with the crowd there this time.
Crowd back, it was good.
Yeah, it's not a full crowd, but at least it's some noise.
Yeah,
some interaction. Yeah.
Okay, well, seen my. Darts tips have been absolute shite. Who's going to win?
Who's going to win the whole thing?
Yep.
I will say Peter Wright.
Yep. Dtrain?
I said last week, and I'm going to stay with it, Gerwin Price.
Okay.
I think that's another high possibility too.
Yeah, I think the crowd back, he just floats on that energy.
Although if he beats Aspinall, he'll play Peter Wright in the semis, so he'll be out in the semis.
So
we'll see.
My tip, and because I've been going so well as darts itself, because the crowd's back, I think Peter Wright.
I'm surprised you didn't go with Glenn Durrant. You wrote him off the start, or you're going to back him all the way?
No, I'm still writing him off. So that's a little bit of wrap for the darts. And now Dtrain, he's our NRL specialist, and he's got to go through a few of the results, and we'll have a quick chat about that.
Yeah, too easy. We'll start with Thursday night. Stitch up. Old Uncle Wayne getting into the Bronx.
How good was that?
By the Bulldogs winning.
I reckon Uncle Wayne had money on the dogs.
Hey, I just let you know that dogs were at $7 too, by the way. I don't know that because I might have had a little bit on that too. Dogs, very good, very well done, and it's great to see that they leave Brisbane in 16th position. The other game was Penrith 32, beat Cowboys 12. The Panthers just showed that they will be very, very.
They've got firepower everywhere.
Yeah. The Crichton. Yeah, that Crichton.
I don't know if you've seen it, but there was something on Fox Sports last night about how Ivan Cleary has pretty much played Moneyball in NRL. So have you seen the movie Moneyball?
Yeah.
Well, Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Did where they use statistics and numbers to
get the players.
They reckon that's what Ivan Cleary's done.
Yeah.
That's going to rock the competition next year if that's what he's done and they win it.
Yeah. Hard to beat. The other game Friday night was Parramatta. They got onto the Broncos. It was a pretty messy game. The old Cabanara ripped him off a try. He's come out and admitted that he shouldn't have
at least
pulled back.
He must have had money on the Broncos for and against.
Yeah, it could have been.
Not reaching 400.
Yeah, I actually thought he was going to try and do 6 again for Brisbane all the way through that
Talking
game.
about, coming out and saying that they got the try wrong, that's where punters, I think, one punt, they've done it in the States where they've gone after the association for buggering up a match.
What will happen there is a lot of the betting agencies will actually pay out those bets.
Yeah.
If they've had it within a certain...
Yeah.
What about the howler on Thursday night? Did you see the South try?
No.
Oh, that was shocking.
Oh, the touchy. One job. Only got one job to do, brother. Put your flag up or say...
I think they are too busy looking at the reflection off their legs.
Oh.
All of them have shaved,
Hey,
pristine
imagine
legs,
if South
short
had won
shorts.
that game. I don't know. That bunker's got some work to do. I know it gets spoken about a lot, and a lot of people are for it. I don't know. There's some things.
What do the touchies be watching though? We go to some games, and if the boys are that far offside. If they built an apartment, they could move in. They're that far offside, and the touchie's right in line with them. I don't know how he doesn't flag it, unless he's told not to. It's just you scratch your head and you wonder.
Well, the referee yesterday came off. In the Titans, mainly. Yeah,
we were talking about that the other week.
About what happened. I thought one of the touchies. No, they got a backup referee.
Yeah, same in AFL.
Yeah,
they've got a fourth umpire.
And then the next result we've got is Titans 42 beat Manly 24. You know what's better than beating the Broncos? Belton Manly.
And that's at Belton.
Yeah, it was down at Brookie Vale.
Yeah, that's it.
At their home ground. I've been saying for weeks they're busted at the Brookvale at the moment. It's not the fortress it used to be.
Their roster's busted though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Their squad has just ripped asunder with injuries and...
In the other games, Melbourne played in a game of touch footy with the West Tigers, 50-22. Cameron Smith getting a try and Craig Bellamy's giving him a salute. Good to see that bit of interaction. Oh, I think it's great. If he gets fined, somebody else should pay it for him.
I reckon Smith will pay it out of the bet money.
Probably. And then Roosters 34, Sharks 18. That was just one-way traffic.
If the Roosters aren't a byproduct of a failed salary cap system, I don't know what is. They're saying that the roster's been ripped asunder, they're under strength and they're flogging everyone.
Yeah. You look at their bench players. Their bench players would get a start in every team.
Yeah.
Every team. And then you've got the ability to bring SBW back and, just chuck you on the bench.
I reckon they're giving him 150 for the time he's here.
Yeah. What? Is that per minute?
Well, what they're saying is that the relocation costs aren't covered in the salary cap.
Really?
So what?
Uncle Nick looking after him?
Because the Raiders bring in a lot of the English talent.
Yeah.
They were saying that 10 grand is the most you'll spend. It's like the unwritten rule in the NRL is that 10 grand is what you'll spend to relocate someone from another country to
Australia,
to your team.
Yeah, wow.
Sonny Bill staying in a penthouse Sydney apartment.
Yeah. He had the best of everything to get ready for that training sessions, didn't he?
They built him a gym inside it, and his kids had the top of the line ties of everything.
No brown paper bags there, is there?
No.
Madness. Absolute
The
madness.
Raiders came out and said that they were hoping that was the case, so then they can spend more to relocate the boys from England over here.
Yeah, why not?
Yep.
Works for them. So, talking about Raiders, they play the Warriors this afternoon at 2 p.m, and the final game is the Knights versus Dragons.
And there's still 2 rounds to go, is that right?
One more round after this.
One more round?
One more round after this. Next game, last game for the Titans next week against Newcastle.
Next Friday night.
Yeah.
Yep.
On the Gold Coast.
Yeah, so that's the NRL.
And then AFL, it's the final round gets finished off today. Well, no, Monday. That's a good game, Monday. We'll get to that one. So the first game was a bit of a surprise for me. I don't know about everybody else, but it was Eagles versus the Roos, and it was 49-34. And
The Roos were in front for a long time.
very, very long time, but I've never seen this in AFL football in a very, very long time. They played on the Thursday, and on the Friday, 11 players were cut from the list.
Wow.
11 of them. And one of them was Majak Dor.
Really?
Yep.
They put a broom through there.
Put a big broom through there.
Wow.
The day after their last game for the year. That was pretty horrendous.
Yeah, Mad Monday'd be fun.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing next year?
See you, boy. Yeah. Then the next game.
All in the pub on the seat.
Yeah, on seat.
Looking for work.
Yeah. Agents going nuts. Next game was St Kilda and GWS Giants. Giants had a lot to play for and didn't turn up. St Kilda 82, Giants 30. That's the end of them. They can't make the finals. St Kilda are now definitely in the finals, which is good for them. Same was there for Essendon. They had a chance to make it into the finals, and so did Melbourne. So Melbourne won 68-49, and that puts them in 8th, and they're hanging on by the skin of their teeth.
Only the Dogs can get rid of them, can't they?
Yeah, if the Dogs win today, they're out, and then the Dogs go in. Now, the unluckiest team of the round was Adelaide this week against Richmond, 77-33.
Go the Tigers.
The umpires crucified.
Yellow and black.
Yeah, the umpires crucified the Crows. But that was in pretty wet conditions. But once again, the September specialists are starting to step up. Carlton,
Good game.
the Lions was a good game. They were a fair way behind
Yeah.
at one stage of the game, and they fought their way back. 78, the Lions 61, the Blues.
You see the rain in that game.
Yeah.
Oh, that was horrendous.
Pissing down.
Yeah, that was horrendous. And then today's games is Hawthorn will get smashed by the Suns.
Go the Suns.
Yeah, on the $1.77. Geez, they can't lose that one. Then we've got the Swans and the Cats, and that's playing for the Cats' position in the ladder. Then the Bulldogs are at 9th. They're playing the Dockers, Gazelles again.
That's my
up
upset.
north.
I reckon the Dockers.
You reckon the Dockers?
I reckon the Dockers.
Well, put it this way, if the Dockers win, the Bulldogs are out Melbourne.
So they've really
Stadium.
got to turn up, don't they?
Yep. And they're slowly getting there, like Caleb Daniels and a few of the players are starting to lift their game. And then the big game of the round is Port Adelaide and Collingwood.
Won't hear me say this often. Go on the Pies.
I'll second that one. Means Brisbane stay top of the ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that'll be, if that happens, then that's the first time in the Brisbane Lions history that they end up on top of the ladder and winning the McClellan Trophy.
They've built well, haven't they? They've really developed and built well over the last 2 seasons.
And this is the thing I don't get between the Suns and the Lions is that they've held on to their young kids a lot easier than the Suns have.
Yeah.
So, but as the ladder sits at the moment, it's Brisbane, Port Adelaide, Richmond, West Coast, Geelong, St Kilda, Collingwood and Melbourne. There'll be a few positional changes if the Doggies win, because that'll push Collingwood to 8th and St Kilda will stay where they are because of percentage. But
if Geelong win, will they jump West Coast to 4th?
Yes.
They would.
They'll get there by percentage, I'd say, because that'll put them both on 48.
They would have better percentage.
Yeah, 138.9 is their percentage compared to the Eagles, 117. So that'll put them. And then basically Brisbane would play Geelong, Port Adelaide would play Richmond, West Coast would play Collingwood, and St Kilda would play Doggies or Melbourne, depending on how that turns out.
Port Adelaide worries me playing us, Richmond. That was a cracking game that we played earlier over there.
A cracking game, but if you have a look at, like I get to watch Richmond a fair bit because, you know, my wife barracks for Richmond. And
she's a smart one.
She's the smarter out of the two. But, you know, like it was Titch Edwards' first game back since round 5.
Yeah.
You got Basher Hooley that's been back playing regularly now. You go to Miss Solder, but that's no loss.
Tell you who started playing much better than the last couple of weeks, Rioli.
Yeah.
He's now starting to realise that to get game time in September or October for these finals, you've got to step up. So
yeah, and I think he's also realised that he doesn't have to be a star every week.
Yeah.
He just has to do his job.
Yeah, he kicked a couple of goals this week.
Yeah.
So
and you got Prestia coming back. So it's going to be interesting. The finals start in 2 weeks. So we'll keep you all informed on that.
Yeah, break next week, isn't there? They got
they have the bye, and then we'll be all over the final series, and we've got something special coming up that we'll let you know in a week or so. But that there is the wrap on the results. Bullseye Darts and Q-Sport are Queensland's leading darts and Q-Sport store, located at Shop 536 Computer Road in Yatala, between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. You can get friendly and knowledgeable advice from Luke and Denise. The store is open Tuesday to Saturday from 10 till 4. They also have an extensive online store that offers a comprehensive range of darts and Q Sports gear, and there is free shipping on all orders over $30 Australia-wide. Their product range is vast and has all the leading brands, as well as some of the brands you may not know yet, but can try in store. Have any questions? Feel free to call Luke and Denise on 1300 557 767 or visit their online store at bullseyedarts.com.au. So now we're going to get to the topical part of the show. We'll do this not all the time, but some of the time that just talk about general topics in sport. There's one that we'll start off with smack, and it's I must say it's starting to become more and more prevalent, and away you go, smack.
So the topic I have, and something I've noticed over the last few years, is the downturn in talent across all codes. Like we follow a lot of different codes, a lot of different sports, and the talent that was there, like even when I was a teenager to when I moved to Australia, in all the different codes has dropped dramatically.
Yeah.
Like you take the Premier League, you could have named 4 or 5 world-class teams from the players that are playing in the Premier League. I couldn't name one now if I had to put 11 together of actual world-class talent.
Yeah.
Then you went to Italy, Spain, riddled. You had Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Zidane, all the Italians. Like there was just teams of top quality would walk into any team and play. The NRL, like the halves at the minute, like there used to be a case where you could buy a half and you could come in and change your team. Now, like the Broncos are in a situation where who do you buy? There's no one to buy because the talent's not there.
Yeah.
Where is all the talent gone? It's dropped across all the codes.
Yeah.
Where has it gone? What has changed in the last 10, 15 years that the talent pool of players has dropped to unrecognisable?
why, and this is more from an AFL point of view than the other sports, is that there's too much emphasis on athleticism.
Exactly.
And
that's exactly one of the points
they're turning them into athletes. Now, years ago, you would see injuries along the lines of concussions and knee injuries, and not the soft tissue injuries.
Yeah, not the pec muscles ripping.
Yeah.
So what is it? Are they spending too much time in the gym? Have we started going down too much scientific? Like they're all wearing GPSs and
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's ruining sport.
Yeah, like I get in AFL there is a lot of running. Like most of the players will run up anywhere between 14 and 20 Ks a match.
Yeah, true.
So
you go back right to the days, like, you know, I'm going a bit back in time, where some of your forwards were heavy guys.
They
weren't fit.
But they
ran a kilometre in a game and kicked 5 goals. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
You don't have to run 14 Ks to be a good player.
No, and if you go back into the AF
Plugger.
Yeah. Plugger Lockett, you know, like a man was a mountain, and he back then his role was basically to kick goals or destroy packs.
That's it.
And let the little fellas.
If you're a forward, what else are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
You get paid to kick goals. You don't get paid to run around and chase the ball. That's what your ruckman and all those other guys are for.
There's another thing that's not just dropping off there. You know, like you could go through and pick team after team after team. I mean, like even 10, 15 years ago, I wasn't following rugby league that much, but you could rattle off.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean. Like, I actually put this question to a cousin of mine, and we grew up together.
Yeah.
And I was like, name me 5 teams of world-class players. Name 20 players from each position in soccer.
Yeah.
It's across all sports,
but that's what I'm saying. Soccer's just one I use because I followed him. Yeah,
you look at F1. Like, you put F1, you've got Lewis Hamilton. That is just the standout. Yeah, beyond everything.
Yeah.
Where you look at the others, and you can't tell me that they're not at that level.
They're not.
There is one sport that I will say that the standard is pretty steady across the whole thing, and that's supercars.
The only thing I would say that has improved that I watch in the last 10 years is darts. The standard of player and the quality of the averages and, you know, how frequently they're hitting stuff, that's improved.
Yeah.
But pretty much every other sport I watch has dropped.
Yeah, and like the AFL has gone down the American path, where they have like a combine and they do sprint tests, jump tests.
If your competition is called Australian Football League or Aussie rules where it's called football, how do you sign a basketball player whose feet is for standing on and jumping?
Yeah, and then you get a 7'2" or 7'3" American.
Yeah, basketball player.
Yeah, and I got caned on a post on the AFL side for saying that the game's gone beyond him. And he came out and played one good game. Now, he can't play. He can't take an Australian kid's spot and play one good game every 2 years. But then again, it's hard to find a good Australian kid that's going to play regularly. There's a couple at the Suns, Rao and Harris, 2 young kids, 1 and 2 in the draft, and they're standouts. They're an exception to the rule of late.
I don't even like the recruitment policy of the AFL even going to Ireland. But they go and pick players who play a similar style of game.
Yeah.
Who all they've got to do is teach them how to kick a different ball.
Yep.
That's pretty much all they've got to do.
Yeah.
Jeez, I wish people would learn how to kick a ball.
Yeah. Well, Jesus, yeah. Like,
and that's both AFL and NRL. The goal kicking is just...
This is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Like, the man El Nasri for the Bulldogs. He pretty much had a contract because he could kick goals.
Yeah.
How many games are won and lost on a couple of points in the AFL or a couple of points in the NRL?
Well, you take the grand final that the Eagles, what was that, 2017?
Yeah, 18.
18. Now, Shuey, the guy that kicked it from the boundary, he's an absolute gun kick. And he's one of those ones that you put your money on to win your game, and he won the game for him from the boundary line. And even there, if you have a look at the footage of it, there's a Collingwood supporter sitting behind him and clapped him from that kick. So And then you have a look at the likes of, and we talked about it on a show that you won't hear for certain reasons, and they'll probably give me shit about it, but Ben Brown.
It's red button that says record.
Yeah, Ben Brown, who plays for North Melbourne, like, as I said, he takes a market in the square at Punt Road, ends up in the Yarra trying to kick a ball, and then, he doesn't score a goal. Then you got Joe Danaher the other day that he's 35 out, and he's kicked it to the tennis centre.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable that the lack of ability, they're getting picked based on athleticism, and that is just wrong.
Yep.
Not based on
talent,
skill level.
Talent.
Yeah.
Are we contracting them too young? Absolutely. Are we signing them up too young?
How do you sign, I think it was Real Madrid or Man United signed a 6-year-old.
Yeah, that's just insane.
That kid might not even like football by the time he's 10.
Yeah.
There's a young fella playing darts, Harry Ward.
Yeah.
Who's come out and said he's not playing darts at the end of the year. He's quitting.
Yeah.
He's given up the sport, so he doesn't enjoy it anymore.
Yeah. And that's a good call, if that's how he feels, that's how he feels.
But I mean, that's a kid who's made it to the top. He's in the pro tour and everything. He's reached a peak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we've seen it similar here. We've got our own Jack Killen. Australian champion youth. But if just gave away darts.
If the passion's not in it.
Yeah, it's...
and then the pressure becomes too much because they're expected to do something brilliant every time they touch a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... And a kid that's 6-year-old, he's given up on the toy that he's got in his hand in 5 minutes.
Exactly.
He's gone for the next one.
I would nearly go as far as to say it's child abuse.
Yeah. Okay.
Playing sport as a kid is all about fun. Yeah. And if you win and you're good at it, it's even more fun.
Yeah.
But if you've got that pressure...
This brings up, Smack, what about... This generation is now based on the fact that there's participation awards in everything.
Yeah.
Instead of... We've stopped teaching them, winning's bloody good. Somebody's got to lose.
When you grow up and you go for a job interview, if you come second, do you get the job?
No.
Did they still give you a pay packet?
So this is...
No, they don't.
I think this adds to that... that's probably why the level of sportsmanship is also coming down.
But
there's not that...
that participation award has only come in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about from...
it goes back about 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it goes back further.
Yeah.
I remember growing up through the soccer system in Ireland, and the guys stopped actively recruiting people who were good.
Yeah.
They went for the big guy.
Yeah.
They went for the tall, slender, and we'll teach them how to play football.
Yeah, like with AFL, growing up, one of the big skills was if you could kick both feet and handball both hands as fluently as
that's the basics of it.
So my question there is, you're 7'2" basketball player. How does he kick fluently with both feet when he doesn't know what a football is?
That's it. But you're even getting some of the elite kids coming through that can't kick on their opposite foot or handball on their opposite foot.
We spent some time yesterday with somebody
and they they're playing against the older players that work it out very quick, and they just corral them. When you're watching AFL and you see them get corralled, it's because they can't.
They can only go one way.
Can only go one way.
Nail the left foot to the floor because he's going to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when I was playing, I used to say this all the time. I'd be like, he's got a right foot. He's got a right foot. And everyone's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You hear that in games now. You hear that when you go to AFL games that they'll target and they're screaming to each other that, they can't kick on that left or whatever.
Yeah, and that comes back to junior sports, like you were saying about the 6-year-old, about 14, 15.
Still too young.
Yeah, the kids are going into the elite squads.
Yeah.
And then they get an ego that goes along with it. Yeah. And then they think that they don't have to do any more.
The Australian Rugby Union is the perfect example of it.
Have a look at South Sydney Junior at the moment. It's put all those list of demands to South. So that's just ridiculous, mate.
He hasn't
even proven yourself at a first grade level, and you're demanding stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There's a kid, I can't remember his name. I saw him on a TV interview, and he's a baseballer. And he's been picked up by the Pirates, I think, over in the States. And he's only just coming out of high school, so he's just done his year 12. And he's got the talent. This kid's got the ability and everything along with it. His old man's the manager, and when they went to this sign-up meeting with all the different clubs, he had 18 clubs after him, and he took the $1 million deal. That's all his old man wanted, was the $1 million deal, and he took it. And now the pressure's on the kid to perform.
When you go to the Billy Bean story, he could have done anything. They chased him across all the codes in America.
Yeah.
And he ended up being an average player.
Yep.
Because he didn't know what he wanted to do.
Yeah. And
he went with the money.
And it's just wrong to... I don't mind pressure on kids to perform in sport, like learn to win and, be competitive and, do all the right things and be a good team player. But to have kids signed up young and that...
I think, like, when you start getting to 15, 16, like... But even how a kid develops from 16 to 18 is massive. Like, those 2 years, a kid can change it a whole different body shape to fill out, to go taller,
But even decision-making.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, I don't watch it too much, but some of the real elite back in the day footballers, like I remember Peter Sterling was good at it. He could have the ball as though he's going to throw it out to the left, but as he's going, see something happening better on the right, and in one motion, offload it for the benefit of the team.
Yeah.
But you don't see that natural skill.
And that's
anymore.
that's the thing that's the point I'm trying to make, is it's the natural skill.
Yeah.
I think it's coming back this year. Some of the teams are starting to show.
The NRL is bringing it back.
Yeah.
Imagine if this had have happened. Jonathan Thurston, Cameron Smith, Cooper Cronk, Billy Slater, right, lads, are all too small. They don't play NRL. What does the last 10 years of NRL look like?
Yeah.
Boring.
Shite.
Yeah.
Because somebody who was a scout or a talent developer, you're too small.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, mate. You're named four of nearly the best players who've ever played in the game, and you're telling me they're too small?
Yeah. No, that's a
good point.
It's really good. And it's, I think sport is a bit like fashion. Something goes in and out of fashion.
No, you know what? To me, there's another thing that's ruined kids, and it's social media.
Yep.
Social media, the internet, iPads,
phones. Yep.
I spent all my time as a kid out on the street playing football.
Yeah. Now, you would be out there on the street.
If you were shit, and you spent long enough around, a lot of us,
you'd pick up.
You'd end up being all right.
Yeah. You'd be out playing footy until the mum called lights. Lights are on, get inside.
Yeah.
There was none of this.
Street lights come on, and that was it.
That was dinner time. You were out there every day. Like, I can remember, we lived near a school, and I can remember that we hadn't had rain for a while, so we went and hosed down the oval so we could play a grand final in the mud of playing footy in there. There's just no memories of those anymore.
Yeah, well, where I grew up, we had it was quarter-acre blocks, and there was 4 of them out the front of us.
Yeah.
And even the council would come and help at the start of the year. They'd mow down at the cricket season. They'd mow down the paddocks and everything and flush for us.
Yeah.
And then they help us prepare a turf wicket in the middle of the ground, and we come from everywhere. But that's where the dodgy, I call it the dodgy skills, come into it for kids. Like you're playing on a paddock, a ball will dive somewhere, take off, and you just build your reflexes, and none of that's there.
But that comes down, as you said, like Steelo seeing something.
Yeah.
You're running one man, there's a huge puddle, and the best option's that way, but you see something and you make something else work.
Yeah.
You make different decisions. You're actually putting areas that you wouldn't normally be put in a game, because that wouldn't happen.
Yeah. It so went down structured and complicated areas that sport's simple.
It's very simple.
The more you uncomplicate it, the easier it is.
And that comes back to a famous one, I think it was Alan Jeans, or one of those in the AFL. You've either got the ball or you're trying to get the ball.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yep.
And how you do it is up to you. And I think you hit a real good point there, Dtrain, and that was that they've taken the thinking out of the game, these game plans.
Yes.
And you do this, and this. And then the flip side to it is the coach doesn't know what to do.
Give me your top 5 AFL players.
Top 5?
At the minute. Your current top 5 AFL players.
Patrick Dangerfield.
Yep.
Who else would I?
Dusty.
Charlie Dixon. Dusty Martin.
I'd have
Cripps. And probably I would nearly go...
Not Lachie Neale?
Lachie Neale, yeah. Yeah, that'd be the five.
What would you say the one thing they have in common more so than all the other players?
I'll take Charlie Dixon out because he's just a big brute man that knows how to play forward. But all the others know how to get a hard ball, know how to think, and their skill level.
So pretty much what you're saying is they've got a brain. They've got a football brain. Yeah. And I don't mean the other guys are stupid. I mean they've got a football brain.
Oh, yeah.
And the natural talent, like somebody like Dusty, where you saw last week against Geelong, he had that ability, 5 defenders around him, and he was able to play his way out of it. Yeah. So he could see, he has that vision, and that's where
your 5 best players in NRL. Smith, Tedesco, yeah. Cleary.
Yeah.
Cleary. Yeah. I'd put those two together.
Darius Boyd.
What? Yeah.
He did play in tests. So.
I reckon he's got a life sewn up after sport because he'd be the best sponsor for Kleenex ever. When your team's going bad, Darius Boyd turn into a tissue.
Yeah.
I actually give him credit last week against the Titans. He made more than one tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was him for the year though. The point I'm making is those 5 people you named in the NRL are all smart players.
Yeah.
None of them are overly big. They're not athletes as in the sense that they're tall, they fit a certain build. Yeah. Like I watched the AFL last night and it was like watching robots. They all look the same, they're all built the same. There's none of them different.
I tell you, and this could be a little bit of a talking point for the listeners, especially for the AFL. I would, in today's AFL, the way they go about recruiting, the greatest player to have ever played the game probably wouldn't play the game, and that was Lee Matthews.
Wow, true.
In the way that they recruit and the way that they go about things today, he would not have been recruited. He didn't fit the bill.
He didn't know, not the mould.
He had the hips and the legs were bricks, and he just had this solid body, and a
bit like Smack.
Yeah, but I tell you what, he's the only person I've ever seen do it. It was at Windy Hill, and I can't remember the year. He ran into the point post and snapped it in half.
Wow,
Jesus Christ!
And it just went boom and snapped
Bang.
it, and he's just standing there watching that snap and go, oh shit, that happened, did it?
Wow.
And he'd run into packs and just split them, and that wouldn't cut it in today's recruiting.
Yeah, you're right.
He'd be too slow.
Yep.
Too small, and he was pretty good on both sides of the feet. That'd probably be
and that's where I think, like, even coaches and recruiters, scouts, whatever you want to call them, have all missed the one vital thing in recruiting, scouting, and coaching. Everyone adds value. You just got to find what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it doesn't matter if you're not built.
And that's
the way they're supposed to be.
Like, there's coaches in the NRL and there's players that you see switch clubs and you think to yourself, well, you weren't much there, why are you going there? And the coaches like Bennett and that. Bellamy's another one.
Bellamy just takes that person that's a fringe and they play better.
But he took even, what do you call him, Smith, not Cameron, Brandon.
Yeah.
Who was the next in line to replace Cameron Smith, and put him in the front row.
Yeah.
As a workhorse.
Yeah.
And he does that job, like I said, everyone adds value if you find out what they're good at and what they want to do. And he just literally changed him into, for the year until Cameron Smith decides he's retiring or not, depending on what he wants.
So what do we need to improve? How do we get the sports level up?
Well, it has to go back to the beginning. You got to go back to the kids. You got to go back. You got to let them play football. You got to teach them the basics.
I think it starts a little bit higher than that, because the kids follow their heroes.
Yeah,
and they'll play like their heroes. They'll run like their heroes. They'll kick like their heroes.
Yeah, like we had yesterday.
Yeah,
first thing this kid tries to do is start banana kicking the ball. I was like, it's not a fucking banana. It's a football. Kick the fucking thing straight.
Yeah.
If you kick a ball straight, it's going to go straight. And if it's in between the posts, it's a fucking goal all day.
Yeah, they just want to complicate it with all this bullshit
with them kicking the banana kicks all the time. I don't know who started it, but the whole theory behind it is they're kicking the fatter part of the ball with less error. Well, if you perfect the skill, that's their theory, right? Yeah. If you perfect the skill of running down a straight line and kicking in a straight line, like throwing a dart, putting in golf or hitting a tennis ball, and you repeat it time after time after time, you know, like what's the difference between a Jason Dunstall today and a Charlie Dixon today, right? Both full forwards. Dunstan will kick 100 goals for you every season. And no around the corner, no nothing, just running straight at goal and going bang.
Yeah.
Unless he was in his position like right next to the goalpost and you got no option.
There is a time and place to kick a ball differently.
Yeah.
And the smart players figure out when that is.
Yeah.
Like they're kicking a fatter part of the ball, but you got more error in it. Yeah. You get under it, it goes straight up. You get over it, it goes down. It's still basic. It's still basic science. The part of your foot that connects to the ball at the point of contact of the ball is where the ball's going to go.
Yep.
Sounds like a kicking coach to me. Anybody need one?
And then the
must not have feelings.
For me, it starts.
Definitely not. If you got feelings,
yeah. If you're emotionally challenged, don't get him as a kicking coach.
You're not going to get a hug.
It starts by allowing the coach to recruit. That's in AFL.
Yep.
But
there's a whole recruiting department.
If all you can recruit is athletes that have been given to you to recruit, because the coach will only go so far outside the realm of the scouts.
Yeah.
If all you're being given is athletes, how do you change it? You got to go back to the kids, right?
Yeah. So
you've got to let them play football.
Yeah. So it probably it's a bit different with COVID, but I reckon at your under 19 level, I don't know if you guys have got an under 19 level, but from there they've got to start changing there.
Yeah.
And then that gives them the chance to go up. And then the real, like the nippers or whatever you want to call them, like the AFL Oz kick and stuff like that, you got to teach it there.
Yeah.
It's not in between. It's right at the bottom.
Yeah. Right at the bottom, but it's got to be
simple. The elite
simple.
kids going up into the seniors and then it'll all work.
You got to simplify it. Like you said, sport is simple. Most of the games are very simple.
Yep.
And it's the people who overcomplicate it that make it hard.
Yeah.
How do you win a game of AFL?
Kick the most points.
How do you win a game of rugby league?
Kick the most points.
Score the most points.
Yeah. It's simple.
It's like
that simple.
It's like what you're saying with the point, that they're kicking the fatter part of the ball. Why doesn't the golfer use a driver everywhere? It's a bigger club. He's got more chance of hitting the ball.
Yeah, different.
Because it's a skill.
Yeah.
You use a smaller club with a slight lift to get to a certain distance.
Yeah.
I actually want to see you do a round of golf with a driver all day.
I've done it because I'm shy with all the other clubs.
I had a funny feeling that you might have.
Yeah. So it's a good topic, Smack, that one, and I hope everybody can jump on and put their 2 bobs worth in.
Yeah.
My last thing on it is the social media thing. Is all these young kids coming through are now trying to build a brand.
Yeah.
It's either clothing, perfume, aftershave. They're sponsoring this. They're sponsored by that, and they're trying to build a brand. What I think a lot of players and what a lot of kids have missed, as you said, like the baseball kid with the dad went with the most money. Your brand is what you do on the pitch.
Yeah.
If your brand is good on the pitch, your brand is good off the pitch.
Yep.
Yeah. And that was, I suppose that's the thing, when they see that people are making more money in sponsorship dollars than...
Yeah, but who's making more money? Like Ronaldo and Messi earn more money through Instagram.
Yeah.
But the reason to do that is because they're the best 2 players on the planet.
Yeah.
It all started from what they did on the pitch. They didn't get there by being a Kardashian and being in a sex tape.
So I wanted Messi at Man City.
They got there by being the best.
Yeah.
Messi's pure talent, raw talent, genius.
Yeah.
Ronaldo's the byproduct of what hard work will get you if you put it in.
Yep.
Ronaldo was a goofy, skinny kid.
Yep.
Who spent all his time kicking a ball, learned how to do the step overs, learned how to kick it a different way, spent all his hours in the gym. He made himself the machine he is. Whereas Messi could have rolled out of bed and just been brilliant anyway.
You have a look at the great man himself, Don Bradman.
Yeah.
Sticking a golf ball.
On a water tank.
Water tank. Keep him sharp. So the next one is going to be the Dtrain, and this is going to upset a lot of people, I think, this one, because
ready for this? I'm outrageous.
He has got a lot of fact behind. He is fuming. He is mad.
He's like an old locomotive train here.
Seriously, the blood's boiling.
And I've got to agree with him.
Yeah, I just can't believe. I've always been supportive, especially during COVID, of Peter V'landys. NRL, whoever made the decision to, and it's been locked in for over 12 months, so it was already made and they were going to take it there. The State of Origin, 40th year of State of Origin, and you take game one to Adelaide? Adelaide? I don't know. I just think you've got fucking rocks in your head.
Name one team that's played out of Adelaide in the NRL.
Adelaide Rams.
Played Super League, though, didn't they?
Oh, Super League.
Yeah.
Didn't play NRL.
No.
Bullseye Darts and Q Sport are Queensland's leading darts and Q Sport store, located at Shop 536 Computer Road in Yatala, between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. You can get friendly and knowledgeable advice from Luke and Denise. The store is open Tuesday to Saturday from 10 till 4. They also have an extensive online store that offers a comprehensive range of darts and Q Sports gear, and there is free shipping on all orders over $30 Australia-wide. Their product range is vast and has all the leading brands, as well as some of the brands you may not know yet, but can try in store. Have any questions? Feel free to call Luke and Denise on 1300 557 767 or visit their online store at bullseyedarts.com.au.
They played Super League.
They played Super League, so there hasn't been a team.
The only thing I can think of is that the NRL are getting a shit ton of money being given to them by the South Australian government to compensate that they didn't get the AFL grand final. Because why would you not? Arthur Beetson, legend of rugby league, of origin, they set 1980 up and they said, it would never work. It's the pinnacle of our sport. It had to be game one at Brisbane, at Suncorp Stadium, with Artie's bloody statue there. And all the family should have been brought in. We should be celebrating it. It's just, I can't believe that you've done it. It's just ridiculous.
I think it's absolute stupidity. My thoughts would have been, especially in the COVID time, is that game one, Suncorp, game two, Townsville, because this is the safest state out of the lot at the moment.
Spot on.
And then if game three is required or they wanted to play it, they go down to Sydney and finish it off there. Support your supporters, NRL, and you've just shat in their face going to Adelaide, as far as I'm concerned.
I would have went Brisbane, Sydney, Sunny Coast.
The only problem with that is if they still play around with the borders, all right, and quarantine.
But the players are exempt. The players are allowed travel.
So
the players
like
get over
in
back.
Townsville.
Take it to a country.
Take it out. Take it up there.
Well, Sunshine Coast is depending on how
not big enough. It's not really a grandstand.
But that's where a lot of the teams have. Like Melbourne has been relocated up there. So you'd normally go to Melbourne with one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So give the people who've supported that team and those games.
Oh, just give us all three.
Well, yeah.
But
it's only New South Washington that are going to blow up and
well, you can't
to go to Adelaide is just
they get flooded enough without them.
They all think it's going to be 3-0 anyway. So
no,
they do. So send it up here.
So how do you reckon they should run it?
Yeah, I like that idea. The first one had to be at Suncorp. 40 years. They're not even talking about a celebration for it.
No.
It's 40th year of the game's pinnacle, and
they're talking 30,000 plus at the AFL grand final.
Yep.
What's Suncorp hold?
50. So they can do 25 because it's 50% at the moment, isn't it?
Well, when you have a look, no, it's more than that because the AFL's doing 32 and the capacity's 42.
Oh, okay. Well, then they should be able to put 50,000 into Suncorp.
You know, Anna could have turned around and said, we're going to put 50, we're going to open up the Soul Stadium, give it to give it to New South Wales with a full crowd and then let them play with no crowd. And that's basically what I reckon. I'd be surprised if they got more than 5,000 over at Adelaide for the.
But they're not going to. The players are going to be stuck in a bubble. They're going to have to. They're not going to be able to get over there and advertise, promote it. They're going to be stuck there, quarantine, and then it's just hasn't been thought through. I don't think. Just
the other reason I would have said the Sunshine Coast, like they're trying to expand the NRL with another team. Like they're talking about maybe next year, the year after. None of those options is Adelaide.
None.
No.
Why would you not go and sell Origin in an area you want another team and build that fan base before you put that team there?
It's got to be about money. They've got to be getting cash from South Australia.
Have you ever been to an AFL ground and watched a game of rugby or soccer?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
it doesn't fit.
You're too far away from the action.
It's a rectangle sport on a oval.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to bring the stadium in and add more seats.
Which they don't do.
They can't because they've got to get ready for the cricket season that's coming up. So, But I bit funny about, and this will be more of a marketing thing, not going to a sunny coast from my perspective, is that it's a country ground. It's not a stadium, and they're trying to get a particular brand and look, and that's why I went. That's why I wanted. I thought Townsville.
It's like we spoke about it before at a different stage. Is that most of the people who go to Origin is all corporate people. Most of the people who go to an AFL grand final is all corporate.
Yeah.
Most people who go to an NRL grand final is all corporate.
Yeah. Take it to the people. Yeah.
Give it back to the people.
Yep.
Artie Beetson was part of the people when it started.
He was.
Give it back to the people. Send it to a country ground.
Hey, him putting one on Mick Cronin's chin that very first night.
Make the big dollars for two games. Give one back to the people, especially during COVID.
Yep.
Give it to the people. Give them something to cheer about.
Yeah, fair point.
Give them something different.
Yeah, but I must admit, Peter V'landys and his team have got this one.
Well, look, they haven't got it wrong until after it.
Yeah.
In theory, they've got it wrong.
Yeah.
But if it turns out to be a huge success,
how can it be a huge success?
Well, they obviously see something we don't.
How?
I don't know what it is. I can't tell you what it is.
Well, they get paid the big bucks and they make the decisions.
And it's done now.
But as we say,
very disappointing.
As we say about our show, it's from the grandstand to the microphone.
Yeah.
And I would say there'd be an abundance of New South Wales people and Queensland people that are annoyed by it.
Yeah.
I'd even say there's people in Adelaide that don't like the idea of it.
Yeah. What do we want that game here for?
Like the people in Victoria that follow NRL, New South Walesmen and Queenslanders, like I don't think anyone's going to be happy about it.
Yeah.
I'd even say if you ask most of the players of it, and say most of the players would be like, I don't want to go to Adelaide either.
Yeah.
So
and just on another note, I wanted to bring up. I was going to bring it up last week, and I was going to talk to you about the Broncos gig. They were talking about Paulie Green and Kevy Walters. Yeah. I've said to you previously that I wouldn't go that way. I'd go completely left field. Now, don't shoot me, but please send in to the email. But here's my idea. I'd go Brad Thorne, Queensland Reds coach, ex-Broncos who won a competition, and an All Black. And anybody with that All Black,
he played for Australia
and
as well.
Played for Australia,
All Black.
So he's won an NRL premiership. He's won a World Cup with the All Blacks.
Yeah,
he's won multiple titles with Australia in league, and he's played Super Rugby. And pretty sure he's won the Super Rugby Cup as well.
You give him
totally left field,
Animal.
And it's not stupid.
How old would he be now? Would he be late 40s?
Yeah, he'd be. Yeah.
He out-trains most of the players of the Reds.
Hey, look at what he's done with the Reds.
Well, he had Quade Cooper.
Yeah.
On something like 800 and something a season. Yeah. And he told him he didn't want them.
Doesn't fit into the culture. You either meet that culture or...
Quade Cooper
that's exactly what the Broncos need.
Yep. Played Brisbane Premier Grade Rugby.
Yep.
Getting paid $850,000 a year or whatever it was.
Yeah.
While the Reds could have used him and they weren't doing too well. And he literally said, "Nah, you go do something else because you're not wanted here."
Yeah, that's where I'd be.
I would love to see him at the Broncos because those players would be. I I'd actually love if they'd done a year, like if they'd done a series of how he changed the Broncos.
Yeah,
because I reckon that would literally be blood, sweat, and tears.
Can we hook into that and get the money for that?
Can we try and fund that?
Can we get
somebody
chuck in some money and we'll fund that? And,
we'll set up a
series.
Set up a GoFundMe page.
Ben Eichen, if you're listening, if you become the next CEO.
Yeah. No, that's a pretty good call on the NRL front.
Yeah.
It was something you sent me the other day. Was about how they're trying to do it like what the All Blacks do.
Yeah,
and bring in a consortium of coaches.
Yeah. And if you go to, like, for rugby league or union, and you go to look at a model, you'd have to go there, wouldn't you?
You have to. They're so successful.
There's a breakdown there. You're getting Kiwis who are Kiwi coaches or ex-players coaching the Kiwis. There's that love of we're all towards the same goal. You bring in a whole load of different NRL coaches into a club team, I think you lose that.
I agree. And that's why I think he would be the standout. And I would hope that somebody would think about it and go, that's left field. But he brings with that he has been through that All Blacks culture.
Yeah.
So he's going to know the in-depths of how they set up and become successful.
It's like the stories
and maintain the success.
It's like the stories of Bellamy. The guys get to the training and Bellamy's doing 15K, has done 15K on the treadmill.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, if he's in here before me working that hard, and Brad Thorne's the same. I reckon Brad Thorne out train pretty much.
Yeah, I agree.
That sort of culture starts at the top.
It does.
Yeah.
It'd be ideal. It's so left
attitude
field.
reflects leadership.
Yeah.
If the leadership at the top down, from the top down, and that's why the Roosters are successful.
I put it to you that if he coached, I reckon they would be top 4 within 2 years.
They need a couple of players.
I don't mind their roster.
Who do you play fullback?
Jack Bird.
Yeah, so that comment you made about Brad Thorne, Dtrain, is probably, I would say, the most sense you've made in 2020.
I know. Sometimes I'm a genius. I'm an ideas man.
That you definitely are. You are an ideas man.
He certainly is, and we'll send this to the Reds.
No.
And then send it to the Broncos. And
well, send it to the Reds. We can be his contract negotiator.
Yeah.
We'll get you some extra money, Brad Thorne.
Yeah, we'll do it for you.
We're on your side.
Yeah.
Just don't flog me. I reckon you could fight.
Just remember, I can be a kicking coach as well.
Kicking coach with attitude. He's good at it. Now, the last topic we're going to talk to today, and I shied away from it for a very, very long time. I didn't want it to be part of the show, but I got a few emails and a few messages through social media and everything why we aren't covering much of the American sport, not talking a lot about Formula One and things like that. And it purely comes down to politics, as far as I'm concerned. I don't like it when politics crosses over into mainstream politics, this is, so social politics, crosses over into sport. And all lives matter, and I understand where people are going with the Black Lives Matter and everything, but when that drags over so far into mainstream sport, and you have the likes of LeBron James and all of those sort of blokes standing up crying and then going protest, doing a protesting by not playing and things like that, to me that's hypocrisy at its best. You're talking about people that are, talking about oppressed people and their products are coming out of China. So there's part A of it. And they're earning shitloads of money and they're feeling sorry for the poor. So that's part A of it. Part B is I don't like it when associations then turn around and start putting things like the NBA has done on their courts, Black Lives Matter, in big, bold letter.
Or somebody wearing a shirt on a podium. That just...
That one from Lewis Hamilton where he had the police that shot this bloke should be arrested, way over the top. And he once again is the stupidity of it. The Formula One said they were going to sanction him and then for some reason pulled out of it.
Yeah, of course.
Because it carries too much heat.
Yeah, but it's all... To me, doing something like that is bringing a sport into disrepute. I know the topic's topical.
Yep.
But it's not the platform or the place to do it.
Agreed.
Look, you play a sport the same as everyone else, regardless of what colour, gender, sexual orientation, whatever way you want to look at it, because you love that sport. Whatever you believe outside of that, it's the same as the guys running onto the field, picking up the grass and blessing themselves. I don't care how religious you are.
Yep.
Religion and everything else is in the dressing room. What you do on the field is about the game. Your political views, religious views, sexual orientation should not matter or come into play while you're playing sport.
Yeah. And
100% agree.
Totally and utterly agree. And that's why I sent messages back to the guys saying, listen, we don't follow it because of these reasons. And they said, well, that's fair enough. And one of the guys, Chris, his name was, come back and said, well, we all have our beliefs.
And that's fine.
And I said, that's fine. And that's why we don't cover it, because I don't believe what they're doing is right. And, people are coming out and saying, well, this is that and this is that. And I just thought to myself, no, I'm not covering it when I don't believe in it. And if you're promoting something that's so divisive in a time when sport, to me, and I don't know if you guys are the same and listeners are the same, but when I go and watch a sports match or even on telly or live, I want to get away from what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
Sport is your escape from reality.
Yeah.
Sport is your chance to tune out from everyday life.
Yep.
And watch something for 80 minutes, an hour and a half, however long the game goes, however long the race goes for. That's your chance to tune into something that leaves the bullshit behind.
And that's it. And you don't want it thrown in your face. Like the first round back of the AFL, when all the teams took a knee.
Yep.
Never watched the round. I just thought, nah, that's not the place. The AFL made a statement and said that they're behind Black Lives Matter, and all the clubs did the same thing and all that kind of stuff. That's it. It's over. You've said your message.
Yep.
Done. Now, if you all stand in solidarity for the Indigenous round, good on yous, because it's a significant round for the AFL.
Yeah. Women, this NRL are just doing the women in league round. So
Yeah. And I just won't do it until they pull their heads in. The other thing that the flip side to it I don't mind college football over in the States. Yeah. In Ohio State, and I don't know who they were playing, both teams, all the players, all the support staff, everybody linked arms and stood for the national anthem. And that's a college team. And I thought, well, there's a message back at all you wankers in the NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL that are carrying on like flogs.
That I think I've said that to you before. The problem I have with people taking a knee during a national anthem is you're pretty much pissing on the grave of the people who died for the freedom you have, regardless of what colour they were.
Yep.
Black and white went to war, and they went to war as people of that country to fight for your freedom and what you have now. I don't care what is happening currently, but if you piss on the people who died, lost limbs, all that sort of stuff for the freedom you now have because of what's happening now, that's not right.
Well, as you said, I think we were talking one day and you said about the military graves. There's no different coloured military grave crosses sitting there in Darlington Park.
Exactly right.
Yeah, they're all painted the one colour.
Yep. Okay, people will probably argue about that because it's white, but it's all one colour. And they all fought under one flag.
Exactly right.
And all of these people, and this is what I don't get, all of these sports people that are going hard, America gave you the opportunity to make the money that you're making. So respect it. And Australia and around the world.
Yeah.
If you play a sport in a country, like obviously I'm not Australian.
Yeah.
But if I go to a game in the Australian national, I stand up. I respect it.
It's respect, Like
I live now in a country where, those people fought for what I now can give myself and my kids.
Yeah.
I don't sit down and go, oh well, it's not my national anthem. I still respect it, even though it's not mine. But I've adopted it because Australia's given me the lifestyle that I've become accustomed to.
Yeah.
So I take on that national anthem as part of my own because of this is where I live.
Yep.
You respect the land you live in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up having the national anthem at assembly, and
I'm older than you two, but I can go back to where going to school of Monday, you go to assembly and sing "God Save the Queen."
Wow.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, but that's what we had to do.
Is that when you used to ride on the concrete slate?
And the kangaroos were your form of transport?
Oh, here they go again, the bastards. Here they go again. Not only do they pick on the fat kid, they pick on the old bloke as well.
Did you go to school with Moses?
No, I went with his father. But
weren't you part of doing the 15 Commandments?
Cut them back to 10.
That's too many.
The piece of slate broke. Yeah. The last 5 got knocked off.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just one of those things, folks. That's why we aren't covering some of the sports. It's if they get out of that mould,
keep politics out of sports.
Keep politics out of sport,
and they have done for a long time.
Yeah, and they make statements about significant things, and that's fine. Like the Black Lives Matter to some people, and I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of Black Lives Matter, but some people thought it was appropriate, but. It's one of those things that...
And this is where going off the social media thing is. All these people think they're now a platform to launch these things. No, you're not. You're a sports person.
Yeah.
And your brand is what you do on the court, on the pitch, in your car.
If I was doing that coverage last week, I wouldn't have let him on the podium. I would have said bugger off.
Lewis Hamilton, nah.
I would have said bugger off.
I would have said, mate, shirt off or you're disqualified down to 4th place. And we'll bring up the 3rd place player.
I just finished potting dead last.
Yeah.
I don't care what you believe in. When he drives that car and when he gets on a podium, he is a Mercedes-Benz driver and he is a race car driver.
Yeah.
I don't care what colour he is, what his gender is, any of that other shit. That's what he is. He's a race car driver.
And to Lewis Hamilton, because he's been the biggest protagonist as an individual, I think. The sports have been collective. But have a look at the team that he drives for and what they used to do. Have a look at his clothing sponsor and what they used to do. And have a look at the amount of money that he gets to drive a season. And he thinks people are oppressed. He's come from privilege. Now you hear people talk about white privilege. He's privileged. You're either privileged or you're not. It's not colour. It's not a colour thing.
Many poor people do you see driving race cars?
Not many.
From a young age.
Not many.
Like even to go karting. Like if to compete in a go kart circuit here, is expensive.
Very expensive. I used to cover it photography with the photography of it, and it's a $12,000-$15,000 a year sport.
Wow.
And it's for a go-kart. You're not going to a race car or an actual car.
And that's for your engine rebuilds, tyres, travel.
Pretty sure I was in a race car yesterday. I went for a drive with Smack.
Jesus. Yeah, but Lewis Hamilton should have been shot down for that. But let's leave it there. Our thoughts. But the positive thing is that Port Adelaide will beat Collingwood this weekend. Storm will win the grand final.
Go the Pies. Come on the Pies. I won't say that too often. Come on.
That'll put you against... So that'll leave you against
Brisbane.
Probably... No, if Collingwood win, Brisbane go top.
Yeah, so we go against
So they'll
Port.
play...
We play Port.
You play Port, probably over there.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah. But as you said earlier, Dusty's playing well. If Dusty's up, and you've still got Prestia and those to come.
I was going to say, if you ever change jobs, you could go to driving an ice cream truck. It's going to be you slow down to everyone, ring the bell to let everyone know you're there.
I didn't think you were allowed around those sort of things.
I didn't say me, I said you. I said you.
Yeah. But once again, thanks for listening to the show. We've got another special edition coming out. It's part 2 of Laura Turner interview I did with her during the week. She did
it was good.
Part 2 is a bit more to do with the Junior Darts Corporation and Women's Darts. So she's an ambassador for them. And then we've got someone that's driving at Bathurst coming up.
Very nice.
And then we've got, who's the other one I've got? Glenn Joyner. Now, a lot of people won't have heard of Glenn Joyner, but he's a journeyman golfer. He's over in the States at the moment trying to get his card on the Champions Tour, which is the over 50s. And he's been around a long time, but a good bloke to boot. South Australian, but, you can't pick and choose those sort of people. But once again, thanks, Smack.
Thanks for having me. It's been good fun.
Dtrain.
Cheers, Pete George. And sorry, Glenn Maxwell, I should have mentioned you. Great innings the other day.
Oh, geez, don't go there. He's got to be in the side for the next 10 years again.
I know.
That's how he stays in. It's one good innings every now and again.
Yeah, that's it. But the next week will be the big wrap-up of the AFL and the first finals.
Come on, the Tigers. Go the Tigers.
Then the NRL will be it's all sorted now, isn't it, the ladder?
How good? Have you seen the ladder?
No.
Titans, 9th.
Would that be their highest?
For a while, yes.
They have made finals, haven't they?
Yeah, we made finals. We've made finals twice.
Yeah, and went out pretty quick.
Yeah, we made 8th when the Broncos ripped us off there.
Now, you said the other day that GWS have got the hangover from the grand final, which I agree. When you get belted like that in the grand final, there's a little bit of scar tissue floating around for the next season. I know Brisbane may finish top or second, but will they have a bit of scar tissue floating around going out in straight sets last year?
Absolutely. They'll be panicking, especially if they get Tigers up here. Yeah. To go to Tigers belted them last year. And
you have to learn how to lose before you can win.
Yeah, but you got to be the Tigers.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I agree though, you do get the hangover, but sometimes when you lose one, sometimes it's like, well, that's not happening again.
2017, we should have won 2018, but Collingwood turned up and we didn't on a prelim. And I still think that if we'd played that 18 final, we would have beaten West Coast. And 19, so we've won 17 and 19, brother. So I think 2020.
Okay, so we're going to finish off this bit real quick. Your smoky performance from any game today and the rest of the week. Who's going to be a little bit of a smoky somewhere?
I reckon Collingwood for the AFL to beat Port Adelaide. I reckon Collingwood might get up.
Yep. Mine's Freo, the Dockers, up there at Cazaly Oval.
Yeah, mine is the Swans over Geelong.
Wow.
That's me smoky.
Somebody should drug test Pete.
No, well...
That's not a smoky.
He must have been sitting too close to the ice September.
What are the Swans at? How much?
It is September. And Geelong shit themselves.
Geelong don't play in September, do
they? They don't play in September. There's just some mental barrier, like Brad Scott's won one grand final in 12 years.
No comment.
But he's played finals nearly every year.
I'd even say the Warriors as well.
$5.50 the Swans.
Yeah, have a little shot at that, wouldn't you?
$5.50.
We'll have to
Fremantle, $3.25.
We'll have to find
a little sports bet.
Now, if there's an agency out there that like to sponsor us,
Neds.
If there's
Bet Easy,
Neds, any sporting bet, anyone?
Points bets.
I'll have a 6-pack with Neds.
Yeah, we'll be more than happy to negotiate with you. But once again, folks, thanks for listening. I'm Pete.
I'm Dtrain.
Smack. Make sure you jump on, subscribe, share to your friends, all the other platforms, Facebook.
And send us stuff. We like to get the feedback.
And have a great week.